우선 이번 포럼에 특별 연사로 참가한 인도네시아 환경운동가 애슐리나 아자그라 아킬라니 양이 플라스틱에서 기후 정의까지 미래 세대가 만드는 변화를 주제로 발표를 해주실 텐데요. 여러분 뜨거운 박수로 환영 부탁드립니다.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Aislina Azara Kilani, or Nina. I'm from Indonesia. I'm also known as the River Warrior. Today, I want to share my journey, how I grew up in loving nature, how plastic pollution changed my childhood, and how I learned that fighting plastic pollution is also fighting for climate justice. Since I was a child, river and beaches have been my favorite playgrounds. My parents are biologists, so they often took me to the river and beaches to explore nature. Back then, the water was very clean, clear, the sand is still very soft, there are dragonflies, butterflies, fish everywhere. Those memories are the happiest parts of my childhood. But things have changed. Today, my river, my playground is covered with plastic waste, not only domestic waste from my country, also imported plastic waste from the developed countries such as United States, European, and even Korea. They are sending their trash to developing countries like mine. Sometimes the plastic waste is being burned, creating toxic air. Sometimes it dumped into our river and ocean. And who suffer the most? Children, like me, like us, because our bodies are more sensitive to pollution and our future are being stolen. And plastic waste is everywhere, in our river, our ocean, our soil, and even in our air we breathe. Our river in my city, becoming a drinking water source, is also polluted due to the industrial waste discharge and household waste. Fish are dying, birds are eating plastic, microplastics entering our body and water, our food chain, and plastic never truly disappears. It only breaks down into tiny pieces called microplastics. We cannot see microplastic with our eyes, only with microscope. These microplastics act like magnets, attracting dangerous chemicals on surrounding microplastic. And then the fish eat microplastic, and when we eat the fish, those chemicals enter our body. They can disrupt our hormones, cause fertility problems, and even cancer. So plastic pollution is not just an environmental problem, it's a health crisis and climate crisis. Many people say just recycle, but the truth is recycling alone cannot solve this problem. The plastic crisis is not only about mismanaged waste, it's about a broken system. Our global economy is designed to produce, consume, and throw away. If we only focus on cleaning and recycling, it's like putting a bandage on a leaking boat. It will not stop the water from flooding in. We need systemic change. We need to reduce plastic production, redesign products, and build a circular economy. So what we can do as the young generation also to fight this climate justice, we have 4 steps. First is literacy. Not only read, write, and learn, we can understand what's happening around us. The air we breathe, the water we drink, the soil we walk on. We don't need to study the Antarctica. Start with our own neighborhood. When you learn, you begin to care, and when you care, you start to act. Second is action, not just talk. We need to do something, join cleanups event, campaigns, or start our own local initiative. Small steps matter when they are consistent, when we know, we think, we feel, and we do. And the third is participation. Take part in environmental discussions and forum. Be the voice that speak up for our generation, for the future generation, like being here today. It's already participation. And the last is collaboration. Work together with our community, artists, scientists, and governments, because alone we can do little, but together we can make real big change. When I was 12 years old, I wrote letter to President of America in 2026, Donald Trump, through the US consulate in Surabaya. 2019, my friends and I held a peaceful demonstration asking the US to stop sending their plastic waste to Indonesia. 2 years later, I wrote again to President of America Joe Biden this time. My letter and campaign were covered by many media outlets, and soon I was being able to share my message in the Netherlands, Canada, and South Korea. In Busan last year, I told my story about imported plastic waste at INC5 International Forum. So media can be powerful. It helps us, youth voices, to be heard across the world. Later, I wrote another letter to European Union, and they replied, the EU has now decided to stop exporting their plastic waste to developing countries by 2026. That shows us that youth voice can make real change. This is the letter answer from European Union. And I also conducted an online survey over 1,000 Gen Z young people respondents. Here's what I found. 82% understand that plastic breakdowns into microplastic, and then 95% are worried about the environmental damage. That's good news, but we are aware and we care, but there is a gap. 60% don't know about the Global Plastics Treaty, and then 68% don't know about the Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs. So you must make environmental information more youth-friendly and easy to understand. Governments and scientists should communicate with us in ways that can relate to through social media, art, and even storytelling. Plastic pollution is not just about waste management, it's about justice, climate justice. It because affect more poor than the rich, the South more than the North, and children more than the adults. Fighting plastic pollution means fighting for fairness, equality, and a livable planet for everyone. Fighting plastic pollution means fighting for fairness. We must remind the world that the climate crisis and plastic crisis are connected, both because of overproduction and overconsumption of the fossil fuel. To solve this crisis, we must focus on 3 key points. The first is produce less plastic. We must dramatically reduce the amount of new plastic being made, especially single-use plastic, plastic bags, cups, straws, because as Asians, we already have traditional and sustainable alternatives such as bamboo, glass, cloth, and stainless steel. Second is to clean up the mess. We must take responsibility for the new plastic waste that already polluting our planet. Government and companies need to clean it safely and stop the illegal plastic waste imports. And the last is redesign the system. Companies must redesign their packaging through extended producer responsibility or EPR. Producers should be accountable for their products even after they become waste. And government must not only create strong regulation, but they must enforce them. So let's remember the 3 actions: produce less plastic, clean up the mess, and redesign the system. As youth, we have the rights to live in a clean environment, we have the rights to breathe clean air, we have the rights to drink safe water free from microplastics. So let's learn, act, participate, and collaborate. We may be young, but our voices are strong. The future is not something we wait for, it's something we create together. Thank you very much.